My next introduction is Mary Valentine, author, politician, and she is here. She's going to speak a few minutes early, but we were able to catch her. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Hi. Boy, it is so great to see so many here today on this cold April day. I'm Mary Valentine. I'm a former state representative. I just wanted to start by explaining how this whole thing came about, because I know people are kind of coming and going, but my understanding is that a couple of women simply had enough of this war on women. So those women, Karen Teagarten and Desiree Jordan, started a new Facebook group organizing against the war on women. Within 24 hours, there were almost 500 people asking to join and offering their skills. 500 people. This rally and those like it across the country are a result of those two women just saying enough. They certainly struck a chord with the women of this land. We are here today to keep that fire going, pick up the mantle of those that came before us. They fought hard for our rights, and we are not simply going to stand by and let them be thrown out the window. So last week on TV, I saw Mr. Romney say, people are saying we have a war on women. There is no war on women. Yep, well, well, Mr. Romney, yes, there is a war on women. It's been going on for quite some time, and we're ready to fight back. Woo. Now, we're not talking about violence here, but be clear, we are strong, we are determined, and we do not intend to back down and lose all that previous generations of women gained for us. Mr. Romney, this is how we know there is a war on women. This is what it looks like. Women waited for years for the Lilly Ledbetter law that requires equal pay for equal work. There shouldn't be anything radical about a person to get paid fairly for their work. But yet, a candidate for Senate right here in Michigan, Pete Hoekstra, called the Lilly Ledbetter Act annoying. This man is running for Senate in this state, and yet he says it's annoying to have to pay us our worth. Another piece of evidence of the war on women. Virginia passed into law a bill forcing women to endure medical treatments against their will. These are the very people who yammer about liberty. Well, apparently they are not concerned about women's liberty because they want to force women into unwanted medical treatments that are not ordered by the doctor. Yeah, whatever happened to smaller government? So some legislators even suggested a bill that in cases where an abortion is required to save the mother's life, hospitals allow women to simply be left to die. That was from Mother Earth News, Maddie Oatman. A state legislator in Georgia wants to change the legal terms for victims of rape, stalking, and domestic violence to accuser. Victims of other less gendered crimes, of course, like burglary, would be named victims. According to the state legislator, however, when a woman is the victim, she is suddenly not a victim. She is simply an accuser. And right now, someone mentioned already the issue at the federal level, the Violence Against Women Act became law in 1994, was reauthorized in 2000 and 2005. This is a really effective law. Deaths from domestic violence have fallen dramatically since this law went into effect. And now it needs to be reauthorized again. It did pass the Senate. As someone said, that's good. But we don't know if it'll pass the House of Representatives or not. But that's why we're here today, so we can keep an eye on that and talk to our Congress people and let them know we want that bill to pass. So I wanted to make up this list of all the reasons that we know there's a war on women. But it's been challenging making this list because every day my inbox is filled with more examples of the war on women. They've tried to redefine rape, cut funding for women's and children's programs. They have even tried to cut funding for early childhood programs because, quote, women should stay home and raise their own children. Hundreds of pieces of legislation have been introduced across this country to harm women in a myriad of ways. And these are from the pro-family candidates. I would hate to see what happened if they were anti-family. So yes, Mr. Romney, that is how we know there is a war against us. And pretending there isn't a war will not make it go away. Stopping the attacks is the only thing that will make them go away. So we're here today to stand up in defense of women across this country. And I just want to take a minute to talk about the thorniest of all thorny issues, abortion. This is the most complicated, frustrating, nuanced, divisive issue facing us as a country today, and yet we have boiled the whole issue down to just a few words: pro-choice or pro-life. And that's where all discussion stops. And I just want to say, I think those labels miss the mark. The question is this: are we going to handle this dilemma by criminalizing it or denying access? Or are we going to find a solution that is actually effective? I did a little research on this to find out how other countries handle it. What I discovered is not only shocking, it is completely counterintuitive. The countries that have criminalized abortions actually have more abortions. Let me repeat that. The countries that have criminalized it have more abortions. Countries where it is legal, but there is a good solid education and available birth control, have a greatly reduced abortion rate. So that's what we need to be talking about. And this information does not come from Planned Parenthood or Right to Life or any organization like that. It comes from scientific studies by the Guttmacher Institute and the World Health Organizations. So I think we need to get that out there. So today I'm calling on those organizations that call themselves, quote, pro-life, to join with us in developing and implementing effective solutions that we can all agree on. Making birth control effective, or making birth control available, education, medical research. How about a motto like this? Education, not legislation. There is a huge common ground here, and we need to find it so we can resolve this issue and address other important dilemmas we are facing. There's all sorts of things that are being left to the side because we won't address that issue. Global climate change, public education, public safety, public health, to name a few. While we are fighting about whether to criminalize abortion, which we now know is an ineffective solution, all those issues are lying dormant and unresolved. So, education, not legislation. So another point I'd like to make is that when we look at our elected officials, we immediately see that women are drastically underrepresented. Not even 25% of our legislators in the state of Michigan are women. If we look at the top posts, the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, all men. There's nothing wrong with men in the legislature and men being in charge, but we need to have more diversity. We need to all be represented. And I want to be clear about that. Of the top 6 most powerful people in this state, 5 of them are men. And we need some women in there as well. We need a lot of diversity, all the diversity we can get. I don't know how it is in your town, but where I live in Muskegon County, there is only 1 woman on our county board. There has never been more than 1 woman at a time on our county board. So women, it's time for us to stand up, get out in front, and become leaders in our communities. Ooh, women, no one will ever address our issues as well as we do. We need you to run for public office so women's voices can be heard. Studies have shown that the more women who are in an elected body, the less corruption there is. It's backed up by studies. When there are women on board, the men simply act better. So we are needed out there. Sometimes, though, we are our own worst enemy. We were told so long that we were not capable that we have come to believe it. But you know what? It's simply not true. We are smart, committed, capable, and we should be out there doing our share. So we know there's a war on women. How do we stop it? We can now see that ignoring it doesn't help. It just gets worse. So it's up to each one of us to meet our legislators, talk to them, study their voting records, find out what makes them tick and where women fit into their scheme. And I want you to remember, you are the boss of your legislators. They are not the boss of you. I see sometimes people being intimidated by their legislator. Don't be intimidated by them. You have every right to talk to them, and if they brush you off, go back and again and try to talk to them. You hire them, you pay their wages, you're the boss. Make sure they know where you stand on these issues. And really, really important is researching their votes. There are plenty of legislators out there who say they are pro-women, then introduce or even vote for legislation that harms us. Talk to them, but do your research as well. It is your right and duty as a citizen of a democracy. And when you figure out who is your true ally, do everything you can possibly do to get that person elected. Talk to others about them, knock on doors for them, walk in parades, and donate to their campaigns. We all hate the corrupting influence of money on politics, but if we don't donate, our candidates lose. And we've seen what happens when our candidates lose. There is a strong war going on against us. They are well-financed, well-organized, and they will never give up. But there are more of us. But we need to be on the front lines making informed decisions about who we vote for, and we need you to work in the trenches, and me too, all of us. We all need to work in the trenches for the candidates that we want to win. We just can't have another 2 years like the 2 years we've had here. So today is the day. This is the day we pick up the mantle left to us by previous generations of women. We pick it up and we run with it. So I want to close today with a quote from Harriet Tubman, who did change the world. She says, "Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to change the world." Thank you.